Hey Till, how's it going? Welcome to Online Hustlers. This is episode 6. How are you doing today?
Hey man, thanks. I'm doing fine. What about you?
I'm doing great as well. Happy to have you here.
Thanks. Glad to be here again.
Yep. So Till basically is, I think he was the first guy I interviewed, but this was before I started my new interview series, which is Online Hustlers. I used to interview people before, mainly for networking, giving value to others, but it didn't really like have a goal, an end goal. So now that I restructured everything, that's what I'm interviewing you again to have everything fresh. And it's been like more than a year since we talked. And Till's a great guy. He has definitely helped me out a lot. He has an amazing YouTube channel with full of value. His blog. He's been doing different types of business, traveling the world. So he really knows his stuff, and he's gonna be sharing all of the tips with you guys here. So again, happy to have you here, man.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here.
All right, Till. So tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get started in internet marketing?
So I got started as a music producer. You already know this story, I think. So basically, in my early 20s, or actually my late teens, I started to get really into hip hop music, and I started to produce my own hip hop beats. So basically, I started to listen to rap music, and I downloaded like some software that I could use to create my own beats. And in the beginning, it was just like this hobby. I was like, you know, let's waste some time. Let's make some music instead of like looking for a job or looking for a university spot. So I was just chilling for 1 year, just making music, basically in my mom's basement, pretty much. And after a while, I discovered like these other music producers that were like making a lot of money on the internet. So I discovered a guy called Enno Domini. He's a good friend of mine now. And he had this huge brand. He had like 40 million song plays or something.
Wow.
And like, I don't know, millions of song plays on YouTube, and worked with like MTV, CBS, and like big artists like 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, I think even Eminem. So I was like a fanboy of this production team. And I was like, if these guys can make money from selling their music, then this is really cool. I want to make money selling my music, like being creative, like it's everyone's dream, like being able to be creative, do your own thing, and get paid for it. That's like what everyone is dreaming of. So I approached Adrian from Anno Domini Beats, and I was asking him if I could become a producer in his team. And at the time, he basically turned me down. He told me like they have too many producers, they don't want to split the revenue and all of that. And he was really friendly about it, right? But I was still very disappointed that I didn't get that position in this music production company. So I took my frustration, and basically I went out there and I started my own music production business. And I created a website, I put up my beats, uploaded my beats, and I just hustled my ass off for 2 or 3 years straight, like uploading new videos with my beats to YouTube. Every week, building my profile, building my social media networks, building my email list from YouTube. And I went out there and I studied a lot of internet marketing and business advice, and I applied everything to the music industry. And I started to make some money. Like, I remember selling my first beat package on PayPal. And I remember this, I was in Barcelona with my girlfriend, and I got this notification from PayPal in the hotel, like from the hotel Wi-Fi. And I got an email from PayPal saying, item number 1, you just made a sale, something like that. And it was just $14 for a lot of beats. I was selling my beats in packages. And that's when I like tasted the first success in my online business. And then I just hustled. I uploaded, I created beats, uploaded them. Later on, I created a team, music production team. Did that for a couple of years, got really big, got like a leader in the industry in terms of innovation and marketing in the beat selling industry. Then sold my beat selling business to my competitor, who refused to hire me back then. So I sold my business to Adrian, which is really funny because he turned me down as a music producer in the first place. And then later on, years later, I could sell him my business and I became his marketing consultant. So that was kind of my first business that I built. That's where I learned all my marketing. Then after I sold that business, I went really deep into marketing in terms of as a niche, building a digital agency, registering a new company in Switzerland, doing a lot of travel, building my personal brand, and that's basically where I'm at right now. So now I do a lot of done-for-you work. I do a lot of product launches with, big companies and gurus. And just putting in the grind and hustle every day, building my personal brand, getting clients, all of that.
Awesome.
That's kind of a short version of the story.
Yeah, because it's quite long for sure. Well,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a journey, man. And yeah, I agree with those. Those first sales are, the feeling is just amazing. I remember having my first sale. Actually, it was a few days, I think, after talking to you. It was a hosting sale for $120, and it came in while I was sleeping. So I wake up, and it was like magic. Cause $120, and I just checked my phone in the morning, and it was there. It was like, wow, it's possible. And I think this is very important for people who are starting out, not to aim for huge goals, because if you don't still know what you're doing, then you're not gonna get to those huge goals fast. But if you aim for getting your first sale, one sale a day, or just your first 3 sales, you're gonna see that it's possible, that it's tangible. Because at least I think since everything is online, it's like harder to make it real. You could say it that way. And now you've been able to do launches for more than $10,000 in a day, right, in the music industry?
Yeah, that was one of the first launches we did. My first launch in the music industry resulted in like $1,500 in one day. The next launch was $10,000 in one day. And then the third launch was $35,000 in 5 days. And then I went on like doing launches for companies, helping them with the marketing. Right now I'm working with a team planning $1 million launch in the health niche, which is really interesting, for an Alzheimer documentary. So it's just like, always trying to hit that next level, and always just learning on the way and bringing what I learned to the clients I work with, and just trying to inspire a lot of bootstrapping entrepreneurs. That's really what I like doing most, like shooting my videos, debunking some of the myths that are out there about entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of hype and a lot of romance about entrepreneurship, when in reality it's really this ongoing, never-ending hustle, especially in the beginning, and so many people don't see it for what it is, and they just they like the good life, this dream of the good life, like having cars, beautiful women, right, hanging on the beach and just having money come in. And that does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but like the work it takes until you get there is like an incredible amount of hustle, and it doesn't stop, right? So a lot of people aren't willing to see that. So I kind of made it my mission to share information about entrepreneurship, about hustle, about business and marketing in a more authentic and genuine way, like without all the bullshit and hype, and kind of telling it how it is. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't be an entrepreneur if you're watching this. It just means you have to be realistic, and you got to be prepared to sacrifice. And that's nothing bad. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of it isn't living the good life. The beauty is really the journey, the process, the hustle, the mental strength you have to cultivate, the habits you have to build to become that person. That's really the beauty. So it's almost like a spiritual journey. And I like to give that. I like to pass that on to anyone who's watching this and to anyone who's watching my channel.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is something that happened to me. I don't know if that happened to you as well when you got started. I used to think that I was gonna get to a point where it would just be money and happiness and no stress, and like you said, living a good life. But what happens is that your average simply goes up. Like a friend of mine told me, just focus on working on getting your average up and up and up. Because if you're making $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, it's the same, except you're gonna have bigger problems or smaller problems. You're gonna, some months if you're making 1,000, some you're gonna make half of it, 500, then 1,500. But if you're making 10,000, you can have $15,000 a month, or then maybe have a bad month for 5,000. But it's still the same, just in bigger quantities. At the end of the day, you'll always have the same problems. You'll have to deal with customers, have to deal with problems, and like you said, the industry is filled with hype and a lot of bullshit about making it happen with 1 hour a day and not doing anything with done for you stuff, which eventually can be done with by building a team and building a real company, but not by doing anything. You cannot create something out of nothing without not putting work or money or time. It's not possible. I mean, how can somebody believe that it's, if you can't do it in the real world outside of internet marketing, why is it gonna be possible online? It makes no sense, you know.
Yeah.
So I really like that you're one of the few people that says things as they are and are not afraid of having others, I don't know, don't follow you or like you because you're not selling them the dream. Instead, what you're doing, which is something that I also like to do, is that you attract the right people. Because at the end of the day, if you sell the dream, you won't attract people who really want to work hard. You won't attract people who won't want to invest money or time. So it'll be a pain to deal with those type of clients. But if you attract people who are ready to invest money, time, and effort, then life is gonna be much easier.
I sell the pain, man.
Yeah.
I sell people the pain, not the dream. And turns out people are quite masochistic. So they like, some people really like to be sold the pain. It's like, you know, you gotta grind, you gotta hustle, and it's true.
Yeah.
And I just resonate more with these types of people. I still think you need a dream. I still think you need a vision, and you need to like be able to have an eagle's perspective, and you have to be a bit naive as well sometimes. But you know, it's just so far. I mean, the far majority of people that I see are just dabbling. They're just procrastinating. They're tipping their toe into the water, but they never go all in. And that's why the most important message I want to give people is kind of this extra push, this extra motivation, and this reality check that if you don't step it up, you won't be going anywhere. You won't have a business, even in 10 years not, if you continue like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and something you said about enjoying the process, I think this is one of the hardest things people learn. At least it was really hard for me. I'm still learning it, obviously, but because it's hard to enjoy the process if you're not seeing like the result you want to see. Like if you want to make X amount of money and you're still not making it, then it's hard like to enjoy the process. But I think if you're really clear on what you want to do and you are really focused, you will eventually, if you manage to learn how to enjoy the process, it's gonna become a better journey. Because let's say you want to become a speaker, so you know that to do that you have to upload the videos every single week to YouTube, and you say I'm gonna upload one every Tuesday and Friday. Let's say that's your agenda. So you have to enjoy uploading the video and creating it and marketing it without being hard on yourself, saying, oh, I still don't have 1,000 subscribers, I still don't have 10,000 subscribers, because that's something that never really ends. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers, you're gonna be, damn it, I don't have 5,000 subscribers. And when you achieve it, you'll be like, damn it, I don't have 10,000. So it's never ending. Like even with the amount of money you make, you will always want more, and you will never be satisfied with this mentality. But when you accept things as how they are, be grateful of the progress you're making every single day, then you start enjoying the process and being happy about the work you're doing, because you know you're progressing. It's better to have 2 subscribers every day and be happy for it than to be hard on yourself and saying, why don't you still have 10,000? It's gonna come. It's your choice if you enjoy the process or you don't, because the result it's gonna eventually come.
Maybe it's gonna come, maybe not. And that's the thing you have to be okay with. Because some people are going to put in all the hustle and all the hours, and it's never going to come. And if you need it to come, for it for you to do it, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Even like you got to kill all outcome dependence that you have.
Yeah.
Like even if you work on doing what you love doing, what your craft is, what your mission is, and you do that until you're 95 years old, and you still have 10 subscribers, you got to be fine with that. And if you're trying to do that for a business venture, then probably you got to look for something else for your business, for your income. But you should still be doing that just for your enjoyment because you like doing it. So the question is, are you doing what you enjoy doing? Are you following your heart? Are you following your mission? Once you follow your mission and you discover your true purpose, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. You really got to let go. And even this last little bit of outcome dependence, that hope that one day it'll come, that can be your biggest roadblock.
Yeah.
So even be okay. Just succeed. Success means for me to hustle and put in the work, like to the day that you die, until you die, even if nothing happens. You never give up. You come back because you decide that's the purpose that you're going to have on this planet. And by doing that, it's very likely that you're going to be successful. But even if you won't, you got to be able to live with that, because otherwise it's always going to suck your energy. It's always going to, nag you. You're always going to have that little voice. When finally is my subscriber base going to grow? When am I finally going to make the money? You're always going to have that little voice, and it's always going to pull you away from your mission and from your purpose. So you got to even kill that voice.
Yep, I agree. It's similar to what I'm doing, because I have a business that makes the money, but it's not, let's say, my mission in life. But I'm doing the other stuff, like building up my blog and doing the videos, which makes me no money, but it's something I enjoy, and I do it for the long term because it's what I really want to do. So if someone seeing this wants to do something that knows it's not going to make him money, he can do something that creates cash flow for him and he enjoys as well. And on the side as well, do what he really enjoys without depending on the outcome for the money. And eventually, long term, it's likely gonna come. But without that frustration that the numbers aren't going up. Like you said, you enjoy doing your videos, your personal brand, that makes you money, but that's not like your number one thing for money. But it's because you enjoy it, and I think it's all about a balance. But yeah.
Yeah, it all depends, right? Because you just need to reach one right person. I had a video from one of my launches, and one person watched it and approached me, and it was an instant $2,000 project. Just it was one person from one video, and you never know who's going to be that next one person, right? Lots of people, before they decide to work with me, they read my book or they check out my YouTube channel, and it's the indirect effects that a personal brand can have on your private clients, and on a marketing agency are tremendous.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And so tell us a little bit about what are you currently working on? What's your main business right now?
Well, I have two things. I have my Inner Circle mentoring program, which is basically a project that I started 1.5 years ago, and it's been an ongoing project where I've been doing weekly calls with a small group of entrepreneurs. It's an online mastermind, and over the last 1.5 years, we've created over 20 hours of business and marketing content together with other entrepreneurs. So it's been a very exciting project for me to work on, because it's very close to the marketplace. I didn't just sit down and create this product like so many people do, like, oh, let me create a product in 1 week and not even ask the marketplace what they want. So instead of doing that, it took me 1.5 years to create my product, and it's still not done. It's an ongoing piece of art, if you want. So that's kind of what I'm doing on one side. It's the Inner Circle mentoring program. And on the other hand, I'm basically doing done-for-you services like product launches, copywriting, advertising, building sales funnels for companies and startups. So that's kind of the two things that I do. and in between I just do my personal brand, doing my YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Awesome. And what are some of the, let's say, top three things this industry has allowed you to do, like in terms of personal goals, things you've been able to buy with the money, maybe experiences? You tell us.
I would say one thing for sure is like location independence. So when I started my online business, one of the main reasons I wanted to do it is because I wanted to have location independence. So all my teams are virtual. I have no employees. I only work with contractors. So anywhere I am in the world, I can work. I can operate my business from this laptop here, from which I'm talking right now. This is my office.
Yeah.
So this is my biggest or my first achievement in terms of business. That was one criteria for me to have a successful business, is freedom. So I did a lot of travel. I was able to do a product launch while I was in Hawaii, basically, working 4 hours in the afternoon in the hotel and then chilling in the evening at Waikiki Beach and surfing, and then coming back and like going out for dinner, and then the next morning doing some work on the product launch, and then going surfing again every day. And it was just amazing, like, for me to be able to do this. Like, I come from a small Swiss village.
Yeah.
Right? I come from a farmer's place. Very few people know this. I come from a farmer's place. My parents are not farmers, but I grew up in a farmer's place. Like, all the neighbors around my parents' home are farmers. There's like cows outside the door. Like, tiny Swiss village that no one knows about. And for me to be able to go from that place and be able to travel the world for 1 year and just work remotely, build my business, do product launches, work with clients remotely, and make a lot of money and finance my life and my travel while doing that and building my brand was just amazing for me. And I'm just so grateful for it. Like, looking back, when I come back to that village, seeing some of the people that just stayed in that village and never did anything, like never went on an adventure, never traveled, never did something big in their lives. It's not that I'm feeling sorry for them. That would be too much, because they don't know anything else. So I don't want to be arrogant and say I feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
It's not like that, but it's almost like seeing what my life would have looked like if I wouldn't have discovered entrepreneurship. And that's a scary thought for me. So that's the first thing, freedom. Second thing, I would say, currently I have a second apartment in Lisbon, Portugal, which is also the second most amazing thing for me, because in Lisbon, in Portugal, it's crisis, right? In Spain and in Portugal, the crisis is still pretty present. People have no money. My girlfriend makes no money. She makes maybe a couple €100 a month. And I'm providing for both of us here. And for me to be able to do that, to help someone else, to support my girlfriend, to buy food for her, to have a place for her so that she doesn't have to live with her parents and stuff like that. That's just amazing for me, to be a provider, to help someone else. Because some people have this idea that entrepreneurship is evil. I'm taking someone else's money for my own egotistic reasons, and it's so far from the truth. Like, so many people are talking about improving the world and doing something good, and they don't realize that keeping themselves poor is the worst way of helping other people. So for me, it was a big step to being able to become an entrepreneur and actually change the lives of the people around me, be a better provider, and that's that's a very real thing for me. So that's huge, being able to do that. And maybe the third thing would be to be able to work with some of my idols. So back when I started my music business, I was just a fanboy. Like I said, I was living in this village. I had no connections. I knew nobody, right, in the business world or in the music world. And I was able to work with some of my idols in the music industry. For example, Vinny Paz from Jedi Mind Tricks has always been one of my big music idols in my early 20s. People like Terminology, like Rex, like those are more underground rappers, but you can check them out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like this ability for me to be able to produce beats for these people has been huge for me, and just amazing, like humbling experience, and also being able to work with Anno Domini, for example. It's been a great experience, like being able to go from being a fanboy of some people, some brands, some artists, and then actually being able to work with them, produce music for them, do like launches for them, evolve their businesses, right? That's just amazing for me. And
Yeah.
I'm planning to continue doing that. And right now I'm just focusing on building my digital agency and my personal brand with daily videos. So yeah, those are the top three things I would say.
That's great, man. Yeah, I think that's better than any Ferrari or Lamborghini. In
Ah,
just
dude,
that
that shit
freedom,
doesn't.
it's
Yeah,
priceless.
that stuff doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I don't. It's just an expensive toy. Like I literally, I don't care.
yeah,
Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to buy a fucking car from my money, or am I going to reinvest it in my business? Like, I'm not into business to basically make a bunch of money, pay myself out, and then get the fuck out of there. That's never been my plan. My plan is to make a lasting impact on the world, leave a legacy, and to do that, I can pay myself all the money I'm making in my business in terms of in the form of cars and like overly fancy apartments. Although I did get a more fancy place, but it's not like full luxury mode, right? So I want to reinvest this stuff into my business, and experiences are way more important for me. Like being able to have a positive impact in the world and accumulating more experiences. So it's gonna like yeah, it's just not how I am.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely agree, man. And you're really big on habits, right? What are some of the habits you recommend people they should start applying? What are some of your habits that have allowed you to achieve this level of success you have right now?
Ah, that's a good question. Well, my habits have changed a lot over time. So when I started my business in the music industry, I was a train wreck. I had lots of addictions. I was addicted to Facebook. I was addicted to porn. I was going out every weekend getting drunk. I was smoking. I couldn't even drag my lazy ass to the gym. And I was very much in a reactive mode, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So it took me lots of hard work and struggle to actually overcome some of these addictions and habits. So that was a lot of effort that I had to put into that. And after a while, I got really good at building these habits. Like I installed a morning ritual, and this changed over time. One of the most important habits was just to drink half a liter of water right in the beginning of the day, take a shower, get groomed, and then one very important thing I did is focus on the most scary and most uncomfortable task of the day right in the beginning of the day. Right? Brian Tracy calls it eating the frog.
yeah,
So that's very important. Like jump on the shit you don't want to do right away as early as possible. Have a lot of self-awareness when it comes to your willpower, because your willpower peaks in the morning, or not in the morning, but it peaks in the first part of your day, and then it goes down. So the stuff that requires most of your willpower, you have to do it at the very beginning of your day. So that's one of the most important habits. I've meditated for 2 years straight. Don't do that anymore. I think meditation is overrated. Sorry to disappoint a lot of people. Like meditate every day. It's like the secret to success. I don't believe it anymore. Okay, there's tremendous benefits from meditating, but I did it every day, 20 minutes for 2 years straight. And I must say I found much more effective things to do to like have mental hygiene and stuff like that. But yeah, one other thing I did is writing in a daily journal. So before I go to bed, also for 2.5 years, I wrote in a daily journal, just writing down what did I learn today, what did I do, what can I do better tomorrow, when was I proactive, when was I reactive, stuff like that. That was really helpful. Now I'm kind of less focused on habits because it became a bit more natural.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't have to force myself to execute that much anymore. Because sometimes if you have too many habits, your life can become a prison in itself, right? And I'm talking from experience here. Like if you have 10 hardcore habits that you execute every day, although it gives you freedom, it also takes some of your freedom, right? For example, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and it's your habit, you drink half a liter of water. Then you take a shower. Then instantly you eat the frog, right? Those are all habits.
Yeah.
Then you have a paleo, you eat paleo, or you have a certain diet, and you execute on that every day. Then at every given day, at a certain time, you work out. That's a habit. Then you produce content every day. That's a habit. Then you meditate in the evening for 20 minutes. That's a habit. Then you write in your success journal, and that's a habit. That's awesome if you can do that. And I would recommend anyone, if your life sucks right now and you're not productive, you got to build habits, you got to cultivate habits. But flexibility is key. So what I noticed is I became too inflexible. Too many habits can result in a too rigid life. If you're too strict with your habits, it can become too rigid. So what I learned is I want to have the right habits at the right time in the right phase of my life. So while meditation was a great habit for me in my early 20s, doing it every day, now it's not anymore.
Yeah.
I also stopped doing the success journal now because I don't feel like I need it anymore. So if you execute every day for 2-3 years on something, kind of it sinks into a deeper level and it almost becomes autopilot behavior, and maybe you don't need to do it anymore, or maybe something else becomes more important, right? So some habits that I'm doing right now is I'm still eating paleo because I think I have more focus and I'm more productive. I do a daily piece of content. That's a habit I execute. I will execute for the next 360 days for sure, and then I'll reassess. One habit is I'm doing intermittent fasting. Every morning I skip breakfast. I try to not eat for 16 hours and then have an 8-hour window where I eat. One habit is I want to focus on sales and prospecting. I want to do client work every day. So I got less rigid. I'm more flexible. It's more like after 2 or 3 years of focusing on hardcore execution, it's almost like you have a toolbox of things like meditation, working out, dieting, intermittent fasting, lots of things. And it's like this toolbox. And instead of being rigid, like, I got to do this every day in this form, otherwise the world will explode. Instead of being so rigid, after a while you can realize those things will be there for you when you need them, and you can apply them and use them when you need them, and you don't have to be overly rigid. So that's kind of like the next paradigm. Once you implement the habits, and that's important to do that, and you have to be rigid about it in the beginning, otherwise it's not going to work. Once you've done that and you become good at that, you can loosen the grip a bit and become more flexible, and then everything flows better. And it's just, dude, you just don't want to be too rigid in life. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just too fucking rigid. If you have 20 habits that every day you have to execute consciously, it's like
prison.
It takes more freedom than it gives you sometimes. So you got to be careful that you don't buy into all this hype. And you don't want to be an overachiever on everything. Yeah. You want to have enough flexibility in life. That's something I learned.
Yeah, I agree in the habit things that you just said. For example, what I'm doing right now that I started let's say a month ago, because I had the terrible habit of waking up late, working in my pajamas.
I still have that.
What?
I still have that habit. I get up. I can tell you, I get up at 10 usually, and I work until 2 in the night. So I'll be working until 2. I'll sleep between 7 and 8 hours, and I'll wake up at 10. I'm just a night person, so I don't buy into that 5 a.m. bullshit, like 5 a.m. club. Maybe I will one day and I'll take everything back. Oh, shit. If I only woke up at 5 a.m., my life would have been totally different, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't buy it as well, but it has really helped me in my case because I used to wake up late and stay up late, wasting time on Facebook and all that stuff that was not working.
Yeah.
Most of the times it wasn't working, and I was like, I didn't hydrate myself when going up, and I just went direct to the computer, and I was like sleepy,
Oh,
not
that
doing
sucks.
anything.
That
And
sounds like me in my early 20s. So yeah, you gotta handle that.
it's
Because
terrible.
yeah, because it doesn't matter when you wake up and when you go to bed,
Yeah.
but in the time you're awake, you gotta be fucking executing, and that's the key.
Yeah, now what I do is I'm going to bed earlier than before for sure because I used to go at bed like at 3 a.m. Now I go at 1:30. I try to go. um, my goal is to go to bed at 11 to read for 1 hour because that's another habit I developed, reading every single day before I go to bed. And for me, it was really hard because I love reading, but it was really hard to just open the book and read instead of being on YouTube, Facebook, or WhatsApp, or Snapchat, or whatever, because you get like distracted by people sending you stuff and watching videos of other people. And this is something that has really changed my life because I go to bed like my mind is it's in a much peaceful state because you're just reading, you're not reacting to the environment. I read the business books related. I hear some other people like to read fiction before going to bed. Like you said, you have to be flexible and do what you like. I like doing it. I also followed your advice of having a glass of water before going to bed and drinking it as soon as I wake up. I'm not sure if that was your advice or someone else, but I think you do it as well.
Yeah. I never before I go to bed. That's not my advice because I just have to pee when I wake up like 3 hours, and in the night I'm like shit, I gotta pee. I hate this. In the morning, totally. You gotta rehydrate. Otherwise, it's just gonna drain your energy.
Yeah, and what I did was I also go to bed. I drink a little bit of water before going to bed with ice, so my body gets like in a cool state. I sleep better that way. And when I wake up, the glass is already next to me, so I have to drink it because it's already there. It's like a life hack because if it wasn't there, maybe I wouldn't drink it. I don't know. And I also something that I started doing recently that has really changed the game for me is that I put the alarm, my phone, in a place I have to wake up to turn off the alarm
I used to do that.
because hold on. Sorry, because I used to snooze the damn phone like 20 times. Let's say I put the alarm at 8 and then I realized it was 11 a.m. and I was like, oh shit, man, it's 3 hours late. And it just messed up my day. Like you said, it doesn't matter what time you wake up, but if I wanted to wake up at a certain time and I wake up 3 hours late, it still messed up my day, you know? So those are like simple things like waking up, drinking a glass of water, taking a bath immediately, and not seeing my phone after being ready. It's something that might seem stupid for people who are not into this level, I guess. But once you realize that your morning habits really change everything for you, it's really like mind-blowing the amount of productivity you can get done. And even if I'm not a morning person, I will never wake up like at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. unless I really have to. But I still think it's good if you find an hour that works for you and stick to it because like you said, some people like you work better at night. Some people like my mom wake up like at 5 a.m. I don't understand why. That's just crazy for me. But you gotta find what works for you because you can find lots of advice online, but you'll never know what works for you unless you test it out, you know?
Yeah, gotcha.
And what are some of the top 3 mistakes you've made in your career?
I would say paying myself too much money from my own income, not being smart enough about finances. Right? If you make money in your business, it's easy to get excited and to pay yourself money and like, oh, let's go on this vacation, let's fly to wherever, let's do this or that. And, you know, it's a mistake. I would have rather, like I said earlier on, reinvested that into my company. And basically, I think it's better to live like a poor person while building your business instead of building an ego and starting to pay yourself more than you should. Because when you have like $20,000, $30,000 on your account from a recent promotion, it's so tempting to just say like, oh, let's just blow some money. Let's buy this. Let's do this. And it's almost never a good idea. It always seems like the best idea, and it's almost never a good idea because money gives you this delusion. It gives you this ego, like it gives you this power.
Yeah.
You feel like you can just buy stuff. Like, oh, fuck the hustle. I'm just going to hire a team. And you don't even care if it's going to be profitable. You just it gives you this delusional sense. So I would say one of the mistakes that I've made is you're being too uncareful, irresponsible with the money that I made. That was a big lesson in growing up financially. So now I'm actually saving more money. I'm focusing more on financial intelligence, reinvesting more money into my company. So that's certainly mistake number one. Number two is listening too much to other people's opinions. And I don't mean like, I'm talking about guru's opinions.
Okay.
Like watching too many videos of this guy. Like, you know, I used to watch like, you know, RSD videos like Tyler all the time.
Yeah.
Ty Lopez, Gary V. And, you know, I took some good stuff from all of those people, but you have to kill your gurus. You have to kill your idols. Otherwise, you will never be able to get out of the fanboy paradigm. You'll never be able to get fully out of reaction because you're always looking, what are other people doing? And the best people in any industry, they don't look what other people are doing that much.
Yeah.
They might be aware of it, but they don't care. Like Tyler doesn't care what other pickup instructors are doing. Gary V doesn't give a damn what other marketing people are doing. He's just executing every day.
Yeah.
And one of my, I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was just like a paradigm shift. Was going from observing other people, like watching content, and like it puts you in this reaction because it puts you on the other side. If you're observing and you're watching and you're consuming, it puts you on the other side, puts you on the reactive side, just by default. So if you look at how my life changed, I stopped consuming almost any content. Like I'm not subscribed to any newsletter. I barely watch any stuff that's related to marketing or business, occasionally, or personal development, because I realized you gotta kind of kill your idols and you know, blow up the bridges behind you to evolve to the next level in your life and to discover your own truth. You can't discover your own truth and your own wisdom if you're constantly looking at what other people are doing. So I went from pinging off of what other people were doing in my industry to gaining my own experiences, listening to my own soul, if you will, to my own inspiration, to my own creativity, and forming my own unique beliefs. Like I disagree with a lot of stuff that people like Tyler are saying, or even Gary Vee, or Frank Kern, or Ryan Dice, pretty much anyone you can name in the industry. I agree with a lot of the stuff, and I disagree with a lot of the stuff as well. And I think you have to start to form your own beliefs to really create a voice in the world that's interesting to other people. So that was not a mistake. That was just a new kind of paradigm shift, and that has allowed me to really find my own truth and what is really important to me. And also that's what makes my brand, my personal brand, attractive to other people. If Gary Vee was just regurgitating what Tyler Durden from RSD is saying, and Elliot Halls was just regurgitating what Tyler is saying, and Ty Lopez would be just regurgitating what, I don't know, you know, other people are saying, it wouldn't work. None of them would be interesting. So part of building my personal brand was really to kill those guys, in due respect, love all of those guys to some extent, hate all of them to another extent, but discovering my own truth, my own wisdom, and bringing that to the world is one of my biggest missions, and I was able to do it by killing my gurus and by decluttering my what messages I'm letting in. Right? Sometimes I go out to get some inspiration, but most of the time I'm like this. And it's been one of the best things I've been able to do for my life. So that's the second thing, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
And the third thing, to be honest, third mistake. Probably the third mistake is thinking I'm bigger than I am sometimes, having a too big ego.
Yeah.
Thinking like I'm this big guy, which I'm not. Like I'm not as big as other people in the industry. And sometimes, and even in the music industry, I used to have this ego. Like I remember I would like tell people like, I worked with this artist, and I would be like acting like a gangster. So that's kind of the kid in me that still needs to grow up. And so that was always a mistake for me to, Gary Vee would call it, not have enough self-awareness at the time of who I am, what my impact is in the world, being too confident and too cocky sometimes. And the way to fix that is just to be more honest with yourself. I became more honest with myself, and I refocused on pure execution instead of ego boosting. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the mistakes that was certainly holding me back for a long time in different areas in my life. Yeah, that's 3 I can think of right now from the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, I agree about everything you said about the guru thing, because I think it's about creating your own guru of yourself, taking a little bit about everything you resonate with and putting it in your own self. For example, Gary Vee says you have to work 15 hours a day. I don't believe that. I think that's not why you should become an entrepreneur, because that's my point of view, is to enjoy life other than business. I love working, but I also love doing other stuff. So I don't think waking up at 5 a.m. and going to the gym with 2 hours of sleep is what I want to do, because he does that, but that's his life. That's not what I want to do personally. So it makes no sense to do it. And also from many other people, I like to watch a lot of videos, but the thing is, I have my own plan for me. I don't tend to get like with their ideals, but it's very easy to get distracted. And I think what you said is really important, to pick like the best thing you like about the people you follow, and find a way to create your own self, that people actually want to follow you because of it, so that they don't say like, oh yeah, Till is a copy of Elliot Hall's. They speak the same way. I've
said that in my early videos.
Who?
But the thing is, you aren't the sum of the gurus that you study. So even if you take a bit of Elliot Hall's, a bit of Tyler, a bit of Ty Lopez, it's not who you are. Yeah. That's not who you are. So to really become who you truly are, you can get inspiration from these people, but at some point you have to let something grow within you that has nothing to do with any of these people. Nothing. That's just, that's just Till. Just pure Till. And pure Esteban, right? And that's when you really discover your own truth. And yeah, you can use these other people as a springboard, to get some inspiration. But the worst thing is to become this mosaic, where your personality is this mosaic of all these other people.
Yeah.
And it's hard, it's tempting, and it happens. So it's very important to recenter yourself and come back to your own truth. And I think that's where your true power comes from. And that's what makes you interesting to other people.
Yeah, I agree. And what I was actually referring to is like for their marketing, for how they market themselves. Like if, let's say you like Ty Lopez videos doing selfie type videos, then you can say, oh, that would be cool to incorporate in my brand. But like you said, for your own brand. Or oh, this guy does these types of titles for his YouTube videos. I really like those types of titles. I'm gonna try to incorporate that type of marketing into my brand, and see how everyone is marketing themselves. Because if you reverse engineer, obviously it's the smartest thing to do. If it's working, it's gonna work for you. That's what I do, at least. Find out what they are doing, and if it's working, see how I can use it for my business. But in terms of the personality, like you said, it's gonna be really frustrating if you try to be like someone else, because you will never be like them. And I think something that really affects is that, like, the numbers. That guy has 50,000 followers, but so you get really impressed by him and want to be like him. But if you meet him in person, he's just a regular dude, and then you're like, I don't really want to be like him, actually. I don't know if that has happened to you, but numbers, followers, likes, etc., makes you like overvalue people, like make them think they are better than you just because they have more social media presence. But that's not true. They are just regular guys that have been working for a longer time, no better marketing, etc. And they're just the same as you. That's something that really changed my mind by attending live events. And that's why I also think people should always attend live events, because they get to know that the gurus are exactly the same as them. They just have more knowledge and more skills.
Yeah, or they've just been doing it for longer, and they've cultivated more of their truth. Yeah, and it's funny you're saying this, because about 1 or 2 years ago, I had a call with Elliot Hulse, because I was in the non-job group and I was launching one of my first products. And at first he was really pissed, and he was like, why are you're launching in my backyard? It's like you're stepping into my backyard and eating my fruits. And he was right. He was right. I was doing that. So that was a little wake-up call for me. And that was a huge impact for me, for him doing that to me or telling me that. It was very important for me, and I'm very grateful for him to do that, for doing that. Because then I built my own brand, my own group and all of that, and that's when things really started to take off. But it's funny, because on the phone, Elliot was I couldn't recognize him. Like, I was watching his videos and he was like this pumped up persona, like so motivational. And on the phone, he sounded like so different. Like, I was like on the phone, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, and that's because when you step on camera, you have a different personality. When I'm on camera, I have a different personality. When I'm cuddling with my girlfriend in bed, do you think I'm like, honey, you gotta sleep now? Like, of course not. I'm like soft and vulnerable, And in front of camera, I project a different part of myself. It doesn't mean I'm fake. It just means all these parts within me exist, and I project them strategically. They're different parts of who I am. And when I wanna resonate with someone who wants to build a business, I gotta show my hustler personality, and I'm good at doing that. And when I want to connect with my girlfriend, I'm gonna show a different part of myself. And Elliot and anyone else is doing the same. So when you talk to someone on the phone or in real life, you're going to talk to a different person usually than the person you're used to on video. And that's sometimes a very interesting experience.
Yeah, and that's something that gets to the point of never comparing yourself to other people's, let's say, videos, because nobody will show their weak parts or their vulnerable parts in videos. Everybody's gonna try to show the best of themselves, because we are always selling ourselves. Why are we gonna try to sell ourselves showing the weak part of us? It makes no sense. So you have to realize that people on video or on Facebook or whatever, they are not like that. That's not their real personality, because it's very, very hard. And if you do compare yourself to people in videos, let's say, you will never be happy, because you're comparing yourself to the perfect part of someone else.
Exactly. It doesn't mean these people are fake. It means they're projecting a part of who they are strategically for marketing. Yeah. The problem is when kids and teenies watch these videos and they think they have to fully become just that part. And then they start rejecting these other parts within them. And that's where depression happens, burnout happens. And it's just, I've seen lots of people burn out, be depressed, become weirdos in the pickup industry years ago. I've seen Tyler, Julian, all these people actually, out in a night, and it's just so different. Like, it's like on the videos, like approach, always approach, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like in real life, I was out 2 nights with all of these guys, and I saw barely any one of them approach. So it's like I get it. It's like it's like they do hustle, they do have the skills, they're amazing people, but it's very strategically projected for marketing, showing that part on video and in the content, and it's very very important. And this goes for pickup stuff, for personal
Anything.
development, and for business stuff.
Yeah.
It's very important to have your personal boundaries and realize that it's one part of who these people are. And if you compare yourself to that standard and you take you idolize this perfect scenario and you make that your new default state that you want to be in, you're going to be very disappointed because none of these people is doing that. So you're trying to reach an idol that none of these people actually even has for themselves.
Yeah.
And you have 10 years less experience than these people. So you can imagine like the gap between who you are and the idol you want to be is so huge, and it's so much friction that I just know lots of people that just turn out to be weirdos. Dude, I know one guy who became a schizophrenic or something because he was just like so disappointed by personal development that he was so into this stuff that he just went crazy, man. So this stuff is not to underestimate. So yeah, I'm glad you brought up this point.
Wow, that's impressive, and yeah, because the people in the video are not even in the level that they say they are. They show they are in the video. So for the people who are learning from them, it's the gap is huge because not even the person that is on video is at the level that they are on the video most of the time.
They are in the moment of recording or of
exactly.
But it's not their default, it's never their default level, and that's where personal development, pickup, business gets dangerous. That's the line between cult and healthy personal development. Healthy personal development is realizing what we were talking about, having boundaries and knowing the truth. And cult-like personal development or pickup or business cults, there's all sorts of cults, or not, soft cults, not like cults where you get like chased and like not like Scientology style cults, but like soft cults, like where you feel like you're a loser if you're not at this level. You got to be careful with that, because otherwise it's like it hurts your self-esteem and creates guilt and shame. So this is a very, very important topic that we're talking about, and I wish more people were talking about this because because it creates this huge gap and it's harming in many cases it's harming people more than it's helping them, because these people don't have the self-awareness, the boundaries, and and the down-to-earth realistic perspective. And if they don't have these three things, they're very susceptible to, cult-like movements in all sorts of areas in life.
Yeah.
Fitness, personal development, business, pickup, and I feel like it's becoming a problem more and more on the internet, because people lose the sense for what's reality and what's not, and they lose a sense of who they should be and who they not should be, who they can realistically be and who this idol they want to be. It's almost like you see all these anorexic girls looking at advertisements of skinny models, and now they want to become these skinny models, but it's totally unrealistic because all these models are heavily photoshopped and like on coke or like just not eating at all. So it's totally unrealistic standards, and now these young girls are like getting anorexic because they want to fill the gap between who they're marketed to be, who they're taught that they need to be, this idol, and who they really are. So they want to fill the gap, and they do it with anorexia, with unhealthy behavior. And the same is true in business, in entrepreneurship, pickup, personal development, fitness. And it's a problem. And it's something the internet has created as a chance, right? Everyone can learn and study personal development, but it also comes with new challenges and new problems. And I think it's very important that this is someone addresses this in the future. And I would wish more of these people also address this in the future. Elliot Halls is one of the guys who actually addressed this publicly, saying that, I don't remember which video, but saying that he built up this persona, and I think he took a time off for a couple of months from doing video blogs to kind of get a reality check of who he actually was, because he blew himself up into this YouTube personality, and that's not who he really was. So he got consumed by his own persona that he was presenting. He got consumed by that, and he had to come back, restructure. But he had the honesty to say that, and I wish more people would do that. And I hope, I mean, if you see me ever like blowing myself up like that, remind me to say that.
Give you a call, man. Stop doing it, bro.
I'll shoot a video blog right away for you.
All right.
Once I get the phone call. But yeah, awesome topics, man. It's very important. I wanna get a clip of this part of the interview for my channel, because I wanna build some more awareness for this.
Yeah, it's very important. So, Till, what are 3 actionable tips you would give someone who is starting out in internet marketing, or someone who is struggling and is still not getting the results they want for their business? 3 tips they can implement after watching this interview so they can start seeing results.
First of all, you gotta sell shit. Okay? There's no way to make money in business without selling. And I know so many people who want to build a business, and they're like boggled why they're not making any money. And I ask them, how many times did you try and sell in the last 30 days? How often did you actually cold call someone? How often did you send out a cold email trying to get someone's money? How often did you tap into your network, asking people to refer you, people who might be clients for you? How often have you hit up people on social networks with the purpose of selling them? So if people aren't getting results, it's simply for 2 reasons. They're not hustling hard enough, and they're not selling. So if you hustle more, if you put in more work, you can outwork everyone else, and you have to do that. You have to outwork everyone else. Doesn't mean you have to do 15 hours a day. Just doing 1 piece of content a day is already outworking most other people, and that takes less than 1 hour a day. So outwork everyone else, hustle more, and you got to learn to sell, man. Like, it's just mind-boggling how many people come to me and say, after 1 year, I've still not made a sale. And like, how are you gonna make a sale if you aren't selling? It's like if you got to go to the toilet and you say, I still haven't taken a shit, and it's like, have you been to the toilet? Put down your pants and sit on the fucking thing? Like, if the answer is no, like, okay, that's the most stupid comparison I could have given. But I think you know what I mean. Like, you gotta hustle and you gotta sell. So learn as much as you can about selling. Be more aggressive about it, especially in the early stages. Learn to cold call, learn to cold email, learn about outbound marketing. Inbound marketing is really cool too, but it's more of a long-term strategy, I think, in many cases. So you just gotta step it up, get on the phone and grab someone's money. And if you ain't doing that, of course you will be broke. Of course you won't make money. No one knows you. You don't have a brand. People won't flock to you. People won't run to you and beg you to take their money. You got to step it up. You got to grab their money. And the way you do that is by selling. So if you ain't selling, you won't have a business. And you will never have a business. There will never be a fix for this. You can invest in 1 million courses. You can invest in advertisement. You can study any marketing trick in the world. It's never going to replace like the hustle, and it's never going to replace true salesmanship. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Second thing is have more self-awareness in a sense of bring more balance into your life and think for yourself. Don't be just a fanboy of other gurus. We talked about it. Yeah. Start slowly killing your gurus. and learn from your unique experiences. Like, go out there, execute, hustle, and sell, and then learn from the feedback. And then start building your own convictions, your own beliefs, your own expertise from that. And listen less to what other people are saying. So that means unplugging from the hype, becoming crystal clear about what you want to achieve, hustling and selling, but staying grounded while you do this, right? Meaning you want to have some balance, you want to take care of your mental health while you're doing this, right? When I say be balanced, what I mean is you're going to be super clear that this is a hard journey that you picked. Hustling and selling is hard if you've never done it before. So that's going to require a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of resources that you don't have yet. So you also have to make sure that you have some balance. You're not too hard on yourself, right? And it's very paradox, right? I'm saying you got to hustle and you got to sell, but at the same time, you have to let go of the outcome. At the same time, you have to allow yourself not to be too hard on yourself. So it's this yin and yang balance between hardcore hustle and selling, plus the I don't really care, even if this never works out, like the world won't explode. Taking care of your mental health, of your body, of your mind, having balance, thinking for yourself, combining those two things, it's very important. I see so many people that don't have a balance. Either they're hustling too much and they have no balance. They're like too much like running around like crazy, and it's like, and they're like fanboys, just like Gary Vee told me to work 15 hours a day, and it's like just like executing, but with no self-awareness and with no balance in their lives.
Yeah.
And some other people, they do the opposite. Like they rest too much. They focus too much on recreation, and they never execute and they never sell. So you got to find a balance between both of them.
And I think
that's the second tip.
Okay, I want to say something about this, and that's really, I used to believe that stuff, work 15 hours a day, like used to follow Dan Peña. Do you know him?
Yeah.
And he
but
says,
I don't. He's not really big on my radar.
Yeah, he says you have to work like he works like 18 hours a day and all of that stuff. So I said, then I have to work 18 hours a day. So it was like, what? Trying to do everything. Even it's impossible to be productive 18 hours a day or whatever. I don't think that's possible. And then now I'm reading the 4-Hour Work Week. That's, I don't know if you read it, but it's an amazing book. I love it. And it says that you have to work to pick the most important and high leverage tasks and do them in a certain time frame, so you can just kick them out of the day and have the day to have freedom for the rest of the day. And it's like totally two contradicting beliefs: work 2 hours a day versus work 18 hours a day. So what's the truth? It's
none of it.
What you want to do. I mean, you can work 18 hours a day, or you can work 4 if you are productive. It depends obviously on how much things you have going on, how much you have to work, etc. But I think it's all about a balance. For me, it's about kicking in important things in the morning, and then if I have to do some work, go along the day and enjoy it. But you don't have to work 15 hours a day to be successful, or you don't have to work just 2 and super productive to be it. You just have to do what works for you.
Yeah, and you have to be aware of which stage you're in.
Yeah.
If you have nothing and you have no resources and you have problems, maybe you have to put in 15 hours of work for a certain period of time. And then maybe later on when you have more resources in your company and you have more leverage, then maybe you can crystallize, you can kind of you can focus on those tasks that are the highest leverage, and you can have other people do the dirty work. But sometimes you just have to execute the dirty work yourself, and that might take 15 hours. So both books have their point.
Yeah.
And the thing is, both is true depending on where you're at in your life and what do you need. I believe in theories and things like methods and techniques and strategies and philosophies as tools, and they're useful in certain areas of your life and in certain times, and they're totally useless in other times. So you got to pick the right tool, the right philosophy, the right model in the right situation when you need it, and you've got to be able to let it go when you need something new. That's what we talked about flexibility earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And what would be number 3 for you?
In terms of tips to get started for people who have never
Yeah,
made
gotten
it.
results. Yeah.
Um, you just have to, I'll say it once again, you just have to execute and build that willpower muscle, right?
Okay.
So don't think because I was talking earlier on about letting go of some of my habits that I had established, being more flexible. Don't think you have the privilege to do that yet. If you're starting out, you don't. You don't have that privilege. Your only duty is to train your willpower muscle and to execute. Once you have a plan, once you know what you want to achieve, the only thing that matters is execution, and the only way that you can make execution a reality in your life is by using your willpower and then turning those things into habits. So that's what you have to do. Focus on building the right habits that will support your business. Execute, focus on action-oriented goals. Never set goals like I want to make $10,000 next month. Say something like, I want to work 3 hours a day on my business for the next month. That's an action-oriented goal versus outcome-oriented. So, and it's just execute, strengthen your willpower muscle, build the right habits, and then once, after years of doing this shit, then you can start to become more flexible and reclaim some of your life. But don't expect it to happen before that. And don't expect to have a successful business if you do none of the 3 things that I just mentioned.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important key to get rid of the outcome. Instead of saying I want to make $5,000 next month, say I have to write 1 blog post a week, 1 video, and do 10 calls a week or a day. And if you do it, you're gonna achieve it. But you know what to do instead of, oh, I haven't achieved the goal, oh, blah blah blah. You just say, I did the task for today that had to be done, and that's great because that's what I wanted to do, and the result is gonna flow because of your actions. But if you just try to grab the money, let's say, without knowing what tasks have to be done, you're gonna be really pressured and outcome dependent. It's like on e-commerce. If you're doing Facebook ads, instead of saying I want to make 100 grand a month, just say I'm gonna test 100 products. One of them is gonna work. It's just numbers, and if you're constantly taking the actions and testing it, it's gonna eventually come. But you are not depending on the monetary outcome instead of the actions that's gonna take you there. That's what I've been doing, and that's really helped me a lot because it makes me more fulfilled to do what has to be done than in getting the outcome itself, because I know it's gonna come eventually.
Yeah, and as I said, maybe it won't, and that's fine too, because the person that you will become as a result of hustling and taking action and being on a journey, that will come for sure. That will always come, and that's what you should be looking forward to. Yeah.
All right, man. And if you had to start all over again with the knowledge you have right now, what would you do to get where you are at right now?
I would hustle more and I would focus more on selling.
Okay.
And with selling, I mean, I would look less for techniques. I was always looking for techniques in my early days. Like, oh, I just need the final piece of the puzzle that's going to solve all my problems. Like the marketing trick that's finally going to work.
Yeah.
And I never found it. I mean, I found a ton of like amazing marketing stuff, like better than most other people. Like, I don't brag a lot, but I can say my marketing stuff is better than, and I check out a lot of marketing courses. I believe my marketing stuff is just more on point, more up to date than most other courses and information out there. So I do have a lot of stuff, but it's never a replacement for hustle and for selling. So you just gotta, you just gotta step it up. I mean, if I would start again, I would just hustle more, even harder. But at the same time, focus more on selling, focus more on building a network, talking to people, focusing on referrals, really try to, not just using techniques to reach people via advertising or blogs, because that's kind of hiding. Internet marketing is for people that like to hide. It's just the truth. It's usually shy people, it's usually people that don't want to avoid the hustle, and that can be a pitfall. You first have to learn how to sell in person and how to hustle in person before you can kind of transfer that to the internet. And a lot of people want to skip this step. They want to jump right from beginner level to scaling up internet marketing style. The truth is, in-person selling on the phone, on Skype is the most effective method of selling. And you first want to master that just to understand your customers, to make money, to build up some momentum, and then you take the knowledge that you have to build out sales funnels. Once you understand the psychology of your customers and prospects, then you go out there, you build out sales funnels, you start to use advertising to scale things, you start to build sales teams and so forth. In the beginning, man, you just have to learn how to sell and how to hustle.
Yep, I agree. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, man, for the tips, the knowledge. It's been actually the longest interview I've done so far, but amazing value. I'm sure that everyone who sees this to the end will have an absolutely new way of seeing the business, the marketing world, and life in general, because it's just life online. It's not how real life is. It's just portraying the best of everybody else. And thanks again for your time, man. Great catching up with you, and looking forward to talking to you again.
Thanks for having me. And for anyone watching, head over to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, we'll post
self-promotion at the
That's what I wanted to ask you as well. Where can people find more information about you?
Right. Head over to youtube.com/Juan Boadella. Okay, that's my channel name because it's my second first name.
I will post an annotation over here.
Or just search for Till Boadella on YouTube. Dig my videos. I do daily rants on YouTube. And I share this type of knowledge on there every day. Trying to speak the truth, trying to be genuine, and do my own thing. So check it out, and I think you'll really like it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, we'll put an annotation over here so you can go to Till's channel. And thanks for watching this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.